So Bichu is going to be a speaker in session 3, and her speech title is Time is Precious. And we have 3 evaluators, who is 1, Brahma Kumar, 2, Stella, 3, Yanfan. So Bichu, do you see the timer?
Yes, I can see the timer.
Okay, do you see the evaluators?
I can see the evaluator.
Okay, ignore them.
Thank you.
Ignore them and move on with your speech, Bichu.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, evaluators, please turn on your camera. Okay, good to go. Now, Bichu is going to speak. Time is precious. Time is precious. Over to you, Bichu.
Thank you, JJ. Time and time waits for no man. What's the time? What is the value of time? How does it impact your life? Fellow Toastmaster, good morning to you all. I'm sure you will agree with me that time is precious. I'm going to share with you 3 anecdotes from my experiences to highlight the value of time in our life. The first one took place in my childhood. I was about 11 years old. I had to wake up at 3 a.m. daily to help my mother tape rubber. You know what is tape rubber? It was a meager sum that I could earn for her. That was lots of money as we were very poor. Not being conscious about time, I woke up late and missed the lorry transporting us to the rubber plantations. As a result, it impacts my mother's earnings. This goes to show how valuable time is. For being not conscious about time, we had to suffer as money was not enough for us. The second experience was when I grew up and entered the working world. There was an occasion when I had to attend a meeting regarding a quality issue. It was attended by top management and departmental heads, chaired by a Japanese director. I arrived 14 minutes late for the meeting. I was late for a good reason. By the way, it was because I had the car punctured and I thought they would accept my reason. After I had explained the reason, but none of them seemed too bothered about it. I could only see the disappointment in their faces. My explanation did not earn any to their sympathy. And as a result, I lost my future order from the company. You could see how important time was. The last example is what saddens me the most. Please allow me to share with you some short screen of my grand's nephew. Fellow Toastmaster, please, can you see the screen sharing? Hello, can you see this screen sharing?
Yes, we see.
Yes, sir. Okay. And this, can you see it? Can you see it? When my grandnephew was in my niece's womb, she started bleeding just it was due. My brother told me to send her to the hospital, but I called ambulance instead. And finally, my niece was finally brought to the hospital, and the doctor and the baby was delivered. And the doctor declared that he had hypoxia or brain damage. This was all because I did not expect the ambulance. The ambulance took 1 hour to arrive, and it's supposed to have taken only 20 minutes because my grandnephew brain was damaged, and he is still an disordered child. He cannot do a lot of things because of this, and I would never forgive myself for this. Stop sharing, huh? And in summary, firstly, allow enough time when you schedule an appointment in case of any event cross up on your way to the designated place. Secondly, always remember that the clock is ticking against you, not for you. Don't dilly-dally when you have important things to do. Always have a good plan laid out before you embark on anything. Having learned from these experiences, I'm more careful with time management and more conscious about other people's time. For instance, I instantly give way to an ambulance on the road. Conclusion, remember these words. First, better 3 hours too soon than a minute too late. Second, lost time can never be recovered. And to many people, time is money. Ladies and gentlemen, what is the value of time? I think from these experiences that I'm sharing now, you can get and earn something from my speech. And again, what is the value of time? Back to you. Hear me.
Thank you, Pichu, for your speech. Now, we have 3 evaluators. One
Wait,
is
hold on. Can we know how much time she took to speak?
the evaluation speech or the Pichu speech?
How long did she say to give a speech?
6 minutes over. 6 minutes over.
Right.
Pichu 6 minutes 50 seconds.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have 3 evaluators. One is Brahma Kumar, 2 Stella, 3 Yanfen. Now I'm going to create a breakout room, and Brahma Kumar will stay here, and the rest of the evaluators, Stella and Yanfen, will go into the breakout room. Now I'm going to make working on it. Stella, Yanfen, and little JJ is going to go to breakout room. Now see you there, Stella. See you there at the breakout room. Okay, Yanfen? Yanfen? Okay, I see you here. Okay, and Stella and Yanfen, please stay there with your camera on and unmute yourself. Yanfen and Stella, unmute. Okay, Stella and Yanfen, stay your camera on and unmute yourself. Please unmute. There.
I'm here.
Stella, unmute. And please engage over chatting on some other topics other than the speech, okay? Stella, Yanfan, you got this? Okay. And stay there until I call you back. Now, Brahma Kumar, do you see the timer? Okay, and do you see where's the speaker? Okay, never mind. Okay, Bichu is here. So Brahma Kumar is going to evaluate Bichu's speech. Brahma Kumar, over to you.
Fellow Toastmasters and my target speaker, Pichu. What a timely speech this is. Time is precious. My evaluation will consist of three areas: purpose, content, and delivery. The purpose of this speech is to tell us the importance of time and to value it. How did she achieve it? By the content. Her content was in three different baskets, three different moments in her life. She started with a quote, "Time and tide waits for no man." And then she threw a question: "Do you know the value of time?" to the audience. Both of these quickly engaged and grasped the audience. And she continued with her wonderful story of her childhood, her experience at a Japanese company, and the unfortunate incident that happened with her grandnephew. Very well done. Now, going to delivery, I liked the way it was structured. You were very confident and very convincing. You also showed a picture to show what actually had happened to your grandnephew before and after. But most important of all was the message that you brought to us by these instances to say how important time is through personal experience. It touched us. It had a great, memorable moment in our heart. We will remember this for a long time. Now, Bechu, being a speaker who is so well coordinated and well structured, there are certain things that you need to take note of. All. For example, as you were speaking, we were losing connection with you. Your voice was heard sometimes and sometimes you couldn't hear it. So we lost some words. However, it was not so bad. We were still able to make out the full message said by you. Secondly, there was a few seconds you lost when you were using the PowerPoint before it started the presentation. Perhaps a better coordination will help you make sure that it comes on time. And if you're using PowerPoint, use the advanced feature where we can still see you at one corner of the PowerPoint. In short, I like this speech because you had a very relevant and current message for us. It was very timely. The time is precious. Time and tide waits for no man, and we should be very mindful of it. Thirdly, what I felt was that this is an area you can improve by making sure that we don't lose the connection, and also preparing the presentation in advance so that you don't lose a few seconds there. And if you could speak a few seconds more, it'll be much better. But in short, I really liked the speech and your quotation, or rather your question, that we should all realize the value of time. That drove home the point again of the importance and significance of time. I look forward to more speeches from you, and thanks very much for that timely message. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Brahma Kumar. And okay, time is precious. Now bringing the second evaluator. Stella, you're on. Back to the main room. So I'm going to send you a link. Okay, click on it and come back. And Yanfan, stay there. Okay, we have Stella here. Stella, unmute.
Okay.
Okay, I hear you and see you. And do you see the timer?
Yes.
And also, do you see the speaker, Bichu?
Yes.
Okay, enjoy yourself. And Stella is going to evaluate Bichu's speech. Over to you, Stella.
Thank you, Bichu. Thank you so much for your great speech. But when I give evaluation speech, I separate my evaluation like good points that I found from your speech, and then like the some points you need to improve. But today I like to make an exception because I have to mention this part first. I think that's because of your microphone quality, or your sound was need improvement. So honestly, I have to make a confession. I don't think I couldn't follow your speech like completely, like 100%. You said you separated your speech like into three parts. Like I like to give you three examples, and then I kind of expected to, oh, I like to hear three interesting stories, and then I lost your childhood story, and then I guess I had to make a lot of assumption because I couldn't follow your speech because of the sound quality. So I think you talked about some happening in your company, and then you finished like I missed like sympathy, and then like 10% or 5% only got the I got from your second story, and then you move on to the third story again, and you show the picture, and actually I couldn't get the message. I tried really hard to try to read the passages on the screen really fast because the sound quality was bad. So I thought, oh, I need to read that passage, but I couldn't, I failed. So that's why I started with this confession. But I'm not saying, oh, the speech was need improvement, because I also have found lots of aspects of your speech. You did a good job and you excelled at, because I love the organization, even though I lost lots of part. But you said in the beginning, I like to give you three experiences, like so we can, the audience can expect what we are going to see, in this case, what we are going to hear. And then you finish your speech with a summarizing. You said in summary, and then you have the audience review and recall what we hear from your speech. And you also didn't forget to emphasize the speech message, not in a single sentence, but in a few different sentences. I like a paraphrase is a good way to emphasize your message, and I love that. But all of a sudden you said time is precious, and you said time is money, but I don't think that sentence does not really coherent with the speech, the main message. So without the message, without the one single sentence will be more inspiring or more touching to us. And other than that, I love that. So I think improvement, my suggestion for your improvement in the future, probably you have to check your microphone and the sound quality before, in advance, ahead of your speech, so that we could all hear, enjoy your wonderful speech, I guess, in the future. But other than that, I love your speech. Thank you so much. Over to you, JJ.
Thank you, Stella. And by the way, Stella is a Korean.
Yeah.
And I'm very much happy to see Korean here. And now moving on to last but not least, Yan-Fan. Back to the main room. I'm going to send you a link. Click on it and see you there. All right. And I see Yan-Fan. Hello, Yan-Fan. Unmute. Unmute. Yan-Fan, unmute.
Yeah, hello. I can see the timer and I can see the third speech.
Okay, and I hear you and I see you. And Yan-Fan is going to evaluate Bichu's speech. Over to you, Yan-Fan.
Okay, now let's start. Thank you, Toastmaster, JJ. And now I want to talk about the Bichu's speech. Yeah. Firstly, I want to say, in visual speech, you use two stories to. One is experience, and another is stories to express value the time. So from your story, I think we are inspiring and make us to think what's the value. Yeah, I think there are more highlights. So I just want to talk about the 2 points. The first is in your speech you ask the some questions to. I think that's a good point, because you ask the question like what's the best wait time, and what's the most value, and what's the value time in the begin, the middle. I think is good, because that's you ask the question and you will ask the audience to open the mind and attract them. And maybe I think that's a good way to connect with the audience. So that's a good point one. The secondly, I want to say in your speech, you tell us the two stories. One is your experience, is how to manage the development. Another is your grand new fields, the friends, the stories, like the PPT. So I think if you want to describe the your point, and now it's very good to use the stories to delivery. Yeah, that's a good point, and the suggestion is very good. And there are some suggestions, the challenges you can apply it in into your next speech. The firstly, maybe I think when you use the stories, for example, if you use the share experience, your experience, and maybe sometimes, and you can in the end you can share a key message, yeah, in your experience, and in the your the grand new fields the stories, and you can share your key messages like the overall. I think you use you share the key messages and everybody can understand. So that's point one. Secondly, I think the sound, maybe in your speech sometimes we can't speak, we can hear clearly. So maybe, and you can notice and adjust it to make everybody can hear clearly. Or I think your speech is very good, and make us to think the what's the time, what's the value time. So yeah, thank you, very good speech. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Yan Fan. And now this will conclude session 3 by ending the recording.